I need to write this down because I do not know what else to do. I need someone to understand what is happening to my family in case we do not make it through this, in case the thing outside finally finds a way in. My name is Warren Slade. I am 38 years old, a widowed father of 2 children. My daughter Molly is 10. My son Peter is 7. My wife passed away 2 years ago from cancer, and I have been raising the children alone since then. We live in an old farmhouse on the outskirts of Lockwood, a small rural town about an hour from anywhere. I bought this place because I wanted space for the kids to run, wanted them to grow up with fresh air and open fields and the kind of childhood I had. I never imagined something would use that space against us. It started 4 nights ago, on a Saturday evening in early November. The sun had just set, that blue twilight filling the sky, and I was in the kitchen making dinner. Spaghetti, the kids' favorite. Molly was upstairs doing homework. Peter was in his room, playing with his toys. A normal evening, the kind we had lived through 1,000 times since their mother died. Then I heard my own voice from the backyard. "Molly, Peter, come outside. I need help with something." I froze, wooden spoon in hand, sauce bubbling on the stove. Because I had not said that. I was inside, standing at the kitchen counter, and my voice had just come from somewhere in the yard behind the house. I heard footsteps upstairs, my children getting up from what they were doing, responding to what they thought was their father calling them. I dropped the spoon and ran to the bottom of the stairs. "Kids, stay inside. Do not go outside." They appeared at the top of the stairs, Molly holding Peter's hand, both of them looking confused. "But Dad, you just called us," Molly said. "You said you needed help." "That was not me. I am right here. I have been in the kitchen the whole time. Do not go outside." They looked at each other, then back at me. Peter's face was scrunched up in confusion. "But it sounded exactly like you, Dad." "I know, but it was not me. Please, just stay inside." I went to the back door and looked out into the darkening yard. Nothing was there, just the empty field stretching toward the tree line, the old barn silhouetted against the fading sky, the swing set I had built for the kids when we first moved in. No person, no animal, nothing that could have made that sound. But something had called my children using my voice. I locked all the doors, closed all the curtains, checked every window twice, 3 times, making sure they were latched tight. Then I told the children we were having an indoor night, just movies and popcorn. Nothing to worry about. They did not argue. Something in my face must have told them this was serious. We sat together on the couch, the 3 of us, watching some animated movie that the kids had seen 12 times. They laughed at the funny parts, recited the dialogue along with the characters, but I could not focus on any of it. I kept listening for sounds outside, kept watching the windows even with the curtains closed. Around 10, I heard it again, my voice from somewhere near the side of the house. "Kids, you still awake? Come outside for a minute." Molly looked at me, her eyes wide. "Dad?" "I am right here. That was not me." But it sounded, "I know, but I am right here." I did not say anything. We sat in silence, all 3 of us barely breathing, listening. The voice did not call again. Eventually, I convinced the children it was time for bed. I tucked them in, checked their windows, made sure their curtains were closed tight. After they went to bed, I sat in the dark living room, watching the windows. I wondered if I had imagined it. Maybe the kids were playing some kind of prank, using a recording of my voice. But I knew what I heard. My own voice, coming from outside, calling my children into the dark. I did not sleep that night. The next morning, I walked the property in the daylight. I searched for any sign of what might have made the sound. Tracks, footprints, equipment, speakers, anything that could explain it. I found nothing. The ground was undisturbed. The yard was empty. My nearest neighbor, Howard Gable, stopped by around noon. He is an older man, maybe 70, lived in the area his whole life, the kind of person who knows everyone and everything about the local history. He brought over some eggs from his chickens, like he does sometimes, and we chatted for a while on the front porch while the children played in the yard. I kept watching them while we talked, kept making sure they stayed close, stayed visible, stayed where I could reach them if anything happened. Howard noticed. He asked if everything was all right, if something was bothering me. I hesitated, not sure how to explain what I had experienced without sounding crazy. But Howard has always been a good neighbor, a good listener. So I casually mentioned hearing strange sounds the night before. Howard's expression changed. His friendly smile faded, replaced by something guarded and wary. He set down his coffee cup and looked at me with eyes that had suddenly gone serious. "What kind of sounds?" he asked. I described what I had heard. My own voice calling from outside, when I had been inside the whole time. The way it had called my children by name, had asked them to come out, had sounded exactly like me. Howard was quiet for a long moment. He looked out at the tree line, at the dark wall of forest that bordered my property, then back at me. His face had gone pale beneath his weathered tan. "Keep your children inside after dark," he said, "and do not answer if you hear yourself calling." I pressed him for more information. He did not want to tell me. I could see that. But something in my face must have convinced him I needed to know. His own grandfather used to tell stories about something in these woods. Something that had been here longer than the town, longer than the settlers, maybe longer than anyone could remember. It could copy voices, lure people out into the dark. Children especially, because children trust the voices of their parents without question. Howard's grandfather had lost a brother that way back in the 1940s. A voice that sounded like their mother, calling from the edge of the property late one evening. The boy went out to see what she needed. They searched for days but never found him, never found any trace of him at all. It comes and goes, Howard told me. Sometimes quiet for years or decades. But when it is active, people disappear. Usually children. Usually the ones who answer when they hear someone they love calling them. He told me to be careful, to keep my children inside after dark, no matter what. To make sure they understood that any voice calling from outside, no matter how much it sounded like me, was not me unless I was standing right in front of them. I thanked him, my blood running cold. He left, and I gathered my children inside. That night, around 9, I heard it again. My voice from the side of the house this time. "Peter, Come here, buddy. I have something to show you. I was sitting in the living room with both children, reading them a story. We all heard it. Peter looked up, his face confused and hopeful. Dad, did you just… No, that was not me. Stay here. The voice called again, patient and loving, exactly like I sound when I am happy, when I am calling my son for something fun. Peter, where are you, buddy? Come outside. I found something cool. Peter started to stand, drawn by instinct toward what sounded like his father's voice. I grabbed him, pulled him onto my lap, held him close. That is not me. Whatever you hear, that is not me. I am right here. I will always be right here. Do not go outside. The voice called a few more times, then went silent. But I knew it was still out there, waiting, learning. By the third night, it had adapted. It no longer just called from one spot. It moved around the house, calling from different directions. First the backyard, then the side yard, then right outside the windows. It used my voice to say things I would actually say, specific things, not just generic calls. Kids, I need you out here for a minute. Molly, can you come help me with the gate? Peter, I dropped my phone by the barn. Can you grab it for me? Each call perfectly mimicked my tone, my word choices, the way I talk to my children when I love them, which is always. It knew how I sounded when I was happy, when I was asking for help, when I was being a good father. And it used all of that to try to lure them outside. Molly and Peter were terrified. They huddled together on the couch, flinching every time they heard my voice from outside the walls. Peter cried, asking why Dad was outside when Dad was right here. He was too young to fully understand, too young to separate the voice he trusted from the thing that was using it against him. Molly understood better. She just stared at the windows with wide eyes, her face pale, her hand gripping her brother's arm. I held them both and told them it would be okay. But I was scared too. I could not fight something I could not see. I could not protect my children from a voice. The calls got closer, no longer from the yard, but from the porch. I heard footsteps on the wooden boards, slow and deliberate, the creak of weight on old wood. Then I heard my own voice just outside the front door, so close I could have touched it through the wood. Kids, are you in there? Why is the door locked? Let me in. The children froze. Peter grabbed my arm. Molly pressed herself against my side. Dad, Molly whispered, her voice shaking. It sounds exactly like you. I knew. I could hear myself outside, patient and kind. The voice I use when I come home from work, when I greet my children after being away. The voice of a father who loves his kids. I forgot my keys. Can one of you open the door for me? It is cold out here. The doorknob rattled. Something was testing it, seeing if it would turn. Come on, kids. It is just me. Let your dad in. Peter started to get up. My 7-year-old son, who loves his father, who wants to help, who would never leave his dad out in the cold. He started walking toward the door, his face trusting, his hand reaching for the lock. I caught him, pulled him back, held him against my chest. He struggled for a moment, confused, not understanding why I was keeping him from helping. That is not me, I whispered into his hair. I am right here. That thing outside is not your father. No matter how much it sounds like me, it is not me. I called out, "Who are you? What do you want?" Silence for a moment. Then my own voice from outside. "I am your father. I want to come inside. I want to see my children. I am inside. I am right here with my children." Another pause, longer this time. Then the voice changed. It was still my voice, still recognizable, but wrong somehow. Colder, hungrier, the warmth draining out of it like heat leaving a body. "They should come outside. They should come outside right now." I did not respond. I held my children and said nothing. Eventually, the footsteps retreated from the porch. I heard them move across the yard toward the tree line, fading into the darkness. But I knew it would be back. By the fourth night, it had learned even more. It remembered things, details about our lives, things only I would know, things I had never told anyone else. It used them in its calls, making the lure more specific, more believable, more devastating. "Molly, remember when we went fishing at the lake last summer? Just you and me, before the sun came up? I want to take you again. Come outside, and we can talk about it." Molly's face crumpled when she heard that. We had gone fishing together, just the two of us, a special trip I planned after she had a hard week at school. It was our secret, our special memory. How did it know? "Peter, buddy, I found your toy truck. The one you lost last month, the red one with the yellow stripe. It is out here in the yard. Come get it." Peter had lost that truck. He had cried about it for days. It was the last toy his mother had given him before she died. How did it know? Details that made the children want to believe. Details that made them doubt, just for a second, whether the voice might really be me after all. Details that made this so much harder than it already was. I had to keep reminding them, over and over, every time they heard my voice from outside. If I am not standing right in front of you, touching you, looking you in the eyes, it is not me, no matter what it says, no matter what it knows, no matter how much it sounds like your father. One night, I made a mistake. I went to use the bathroom. I was only gone for 2 minutes, maybe less. The children were in the living room. The doors were locked. The curtains were closed. I thought it would be fine. When I came back, Peter was standing at the back door with his hand on the lock. "Peter, get away from the door." He turned to look at me, his face confused and dreamy like someone half asleep. "But Dad, you said you needed help. You said to come outside and help you with the firewood." I pulled him away from the door, scooped him up in my arms, held him tight. Through the window beside the door, I could see the backyard. Empty, dark, but I could feel something out there, just beyond the reach of the porch light. Watching, waiting. It had almost gotten my son. 2 minutes of inattention, and it had almost taken him. I realized we could not stay in the house. The thing knew too much now, sounded too real, had learned too many details about our lives. Eventually, one of the children would slip, would believe for just a second too long, would open the door before I could stop them, and then they would be gone, taken by whatever waited outside, and I would spend the rest of my life searching for them, like Howard's grandfather searched for his brother. I could not let that happen. I started planning to leave, to take the children somewhere safe, somewhere far away from this place and whatever lived in the woods around it. I did not know where we would go. I did not know if anywhere was far enough. But I knew we could not stay here, trapped in our own home, besieged by something wearing my voice like a weapon. I packed the car in darkness, moving quickly between the house and the vehicle. Every trip outside felt like a gamble, like stepping into enemy territory. The voice called to me while I worked, coming from the yard, from the tree line, from somewhere just beyond the reach of the porch light. "Where are you going, Warren? Why are you leaving? The children should stay here. They belong here. You all belong here." I ignored it, kept loading supplies. Food, water, clothes, everything we might need for however long we had to run. "You cannot protect them forever, Warren. They will come outside eventually. They will hear me calling and they will come. It is only a matter of time." I slammed the trunk closed and went back inside. I would not give it the satisfaction of a response. At first light, I bundled the children into the car. They were exhausted, frightened, barely awake. I buckled them into the back seat, got behind the wheel, and pulled out of the driveway. For a moment, as we turned onto the main road, I thought we had made it. Then Molly screamed. I slammed on the brakes, looking around wildly for danger, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. And I saw it. Standing in the middle of the road, maybe 50 feet ahead, was me, or something that looked exactly like me. Same clothes I was wearing, the flannel shirt and jeans I had thrown on that morning. Same face, same build, same posture, same wedding ring on its left hand, catching the morning light. It raised a hand and waved, friendly and calm, the way I wave to neighbors when I am out in the yard, the way I wave to my children when I pick them up from school. "Kids, where are you going? Come back, do not leave." Peter started unbuckling his seatbelt behind me. I heard the click, heard him reaching for the door handle. "Peter, no, stay in your seat. Keep your seatbelt on." "But Dad, that is you out there. Why are you out there? How are you in two places?" I did not have time to explain. I did not stop. I accelerated, aimed straight for the thing in the road. At the last second, I swerved around it, close enough that I could see its face clearly through my window. My face, smiling, patient, happy, wrong. In the rearview mirror, I watched it turn to follow our car with its eyes, still smiling, still waving, getting smaller and smaller as I drove away as fast as the car would go. It stood in the middle of the road and watched us flee, and it did not stop smiling the whole time. We drove for 3 hours. I kept checking the mirror, kept expecting to see something following us, but the road stayed empty. The sun rose higher, the day grew brighter, and eventually the children fell asleep in the back seat, exhausted by days of fear and sleepless nights. I found a motel in a town I had never heard of, far from Lockwood, far from the farmhouse, far from the thing that wore my face. I checked us in, locked the door, pulled the curtains closed. For the first time in 4 days, no voice called from outside. The children slept deeply, peacefully, curled up together in one of the beds. I sat in the chair by the window, watching the parking lot, waiting for something that did not come. Night fell. I tensed, expecting to hear my own voice calling from the darkness outside. Minutes passed, then hours. Nothing. Maybe we were far enough away. Maybe the thing could not follow us this far. Maybe we had finally escaped. I allowed myself to hope. Around midnight, Peter woke up and went to the bathroom. I heard the door close, heard the sink run, heard my son moving around. Normal sounds, safe sounds. Then I heard something else. From outside the motel room door, a child's voice. Peter's voice. "Dad, can you come outside? I need help with something." I looked at the bathroom door. Still closed, water still running. Peter was inside, just a few feet away. But Peter's voice was also outside, in the hallway, calling for me. "Dad, please come outside. I'm scared. I need you." My son's voice, exactly like my son's voice. The same tone, the same inflection, the same little catch he gets when he is frightened. "Dad, why will you not answer me? Do you not love me anymore?" The bathroom door opened. Peter came out, rubbing his eyes, confused. "Dad, who are you talking to?" I looked at my son, my real son, standing in front of me, solid and alive. I looked at the door, where the other voice had gone silent. "No one," I said. "Just go back to sleep, buddy." He climbed back into bed with his sister, and within minutes, he was asleep again. I have not slept since. I sit in this chair, watching my children, watching the door. The thing did not just follow us. It learned. It adapted. It can mimic more than just my voice now. It can sound like my children. And if it can call me outside using my children's voices, just like it called my children outside using mine, I do not know what to do anymore. Every time one of my children speaks, I have to look at them, have to make sure they are really there, really in front of me, really the ones making the sound. Every time I hear Dad from the other room, my heart stops until I can see their faces. The thing outside knows how to sound like everything I love, and I am starting to wonder if I will ever be certain again. I keep watching Molly and Peter sleep. They look so peaceful, so innocent. They look like my children, the ones I have raised, the ones I would die to protect. But the thing on the road looked like me too, perfectly, completely. What if it is not just outside anymore? What if it found a way in while I was not watching? What if one of the children in that bed is not my child? I cannot think like that. I cannot let the doubt consume me. They are my children. I watch them get in the car. I watch them sleep the whole drive here. They are real. They are mine. But the voice outside knew things only I would know. And now it knows my children's voices too. I hear it again as I write this. Outside the door, Peter's voice calling softly. "Dad, are you awake? Can I come in?" Peter is asleep in the bed. I can see him. I can see his chest rising and falling. But something outside wants me to open the door. Something that sounds exactly like my son. I will not open it. I will never open it. But I do not know how long I can live like this, doubting every voice, fearing every sound, wondering if the thing I hear is my family or something wearing their voices like a mask. This is what it does. I think. This is how it wins. Not by breaking down the door, but by breaking down the trust. By making you doubt the people you love. By making you wonder if you are already lost, already surrounded, already alone. I am sitting in a motel room with my children, and I have never felt more alone in my life. And outside, in the dark, something is calling, something that sounds just like the people I love most in the world, waiting for me to answer, waiting for me to open the door, waiting